After week 12 of college football, Marcel Reed, Dante Moore, and Gunner Stockton have one thing in common. They all deserve to be quarterback of the week.
You are Locked On NFL Draft, your daily podcast covering the NFL Draft. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast, your daily podcast covering your favorite draft prospects, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your boy, Damian Parson. I'm an NFL draft analyst with Bleacher Report. That's my guy, Keith Sanchez. He's a director of scouting with the Draft Network and 2019 national champion with those LSU Tigers. And as always, thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day. Shout out for being our every Dayers, guys. It's quarterback talk here after week 12 of college football. We're talking about our quarterback of the week, those stock rising performances from the quarterbacks, and those quarterbacks whose stocks could take a little bit of a tumble after their performance in week 12. But before that, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 back in bonus bets to use freely across the app. Keith, when we say quarterback of the week, what name comes to mind for you?
I'm going to go with Marcel Reed, DP. I told you I almost jumped in it yesterday, and then I left it alone because I was saving it for this show. I'm going to go with Texas A&M quarterback Marcel Reed. And I feel like I'm on an island by myself, and you tell me if you've seen this, but he's draft eligible. And I question myself because I just don't see him getting discussed at all in draft talks, right? Of like, hey, this prospect, what could he potentially be? Or like, let's throw it out there and see if we like him or not, right? Like, I feel like he's like so far off the radar that it's not a given or even a question. But I want to highlight the young man, and just because DP, this is the things that you want to see from your quarterback, right? So I'm gonna do this multiple layers. So first, I'm gonna do his season stats, right? So thus far, they have him at 22 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, right? Then for the season, then I'm gonna go to the specific game, right? And that's 22 touchdowns, not including the rushing touchdowns. Has another 6 rushing touchdowns. Then I'm gonna go to this specific game, DP, where he threw for 430 yards, right? But more importantly, I believe he started the first half and he was 2 interceptions and no touchdowns. And it looked bad. It was really bad. And it was every time you thought that it was bad, it got worse.
It got worse.
And that's how the game was. And they were down 30-3 at half. They're the number 3 team in the country, facing South Carolina, a game that they should honestly, even looking at it, they should have been dominating the game, and they were down by 27. And for you as a quarterback to go back into the locker room, to mentally get yourself together, because we always talk about the mental side of this, and then to come back out and dice them up left and right. And it almost felt like in the second half, he couldn't miss. Like they were even wide receivers had drops, right? I think it was like a drag route. Well, KC dropped a pass in the first half, I believe. And then we talked about the wide receiver yesterday with the hyphenated name. I think he dropped one kind of like a drag route coming across the middle of the field. But then, boom, 4th down. Hit it, right? And he just kept coming and kept going. And I was like, man, this is really impressive. And that's the throwing the football part. The dual threat ability of this young man with the athleticism, he has electric speed. This guy's a quick accelerator. Like you have to account for him at all times, because he can, if you don't account for him and he makes decisions to just tuck the ball and run all game, he can gas you for 150 yards. Like he can leave the game with that many yards. So a lot of credit to Marcel Reed showing the mental fortitude. That's why I have to give him my quarterback of the week.
Yeah, no, I mean the tale of two halves, right? Like in basketball, they say basketball is a game of runs. Football is a game of drives. It's a game of halves. And again, third down, 27 points going into halftime, and to turn and flip the switch, and for him to put the team on his back the way he did, like, just, you got to give him love for it. I'm with you. He definitely deserves the game ball. Keith, I'm gonna go to Georgia real quick, man. Gunner Stockton played well Saturday night at home. You know, if any scouts are there, then they're probably not there for you. They're there to watch Arch. You know, they're there to watch the Texas team and maybe some of your teammates. Maybe not many, but some of them. Because this isn't the Georgia teams we're accustomed to. almost 83% completion percentage, 229 yards passing, 4 total touchdowns in this game. And he played point guard. He played it well. He's an athletic quarterback that can use his legs and rush at any moment whenever he really feels like it. Like if you are playing man coverage, you don't have a spy on him, you don't stay in your rush lanes, he can hurt you with his legs. And he's done that all season. And or either that or just create and improvise to create those second reaction throwing opportunities, create a scramble drill where his receivers can detach from coverage, work back to him, and him making the throws. But him and Noah Thomas, I think it's Noah Thomas, the receiver. They had a nice chemistry going in this game and everything from a timing standpoint, knowing the breaks, knowing like when he's going to like break from his releases and everything like that. I think he had 2 touchdowns in this game, 4 receptions, 32 touchdowns. Getting the London Humphreys going. Still not enough love for the tight ends. Oscar Delp only let the tight ends with 3 catches. I think Lawson Lucky caught a touchdown. On target in this game, but yeah, I think Gunner Stockton played well. I'll give him a lot of credit. He to me, Kirby Smart has a type at quarterback. He has a type. It's the point guard, the game manager type. He's probably, but this young man probably has the most tools out of all of the guys that he's had that he's allowed to play. Like Justin Fields transferred out, things like that. I think Jaden Rashada left and different guys have left, but like the Stetson Bennett's, Carson Beck's, now Gunner Stockton, he's probably the more toolsy of the 3. And he played well, man. Again, 4 touchdowns in this game. It's not easy. And that Texas defense is good. They got NFL talent at every level, and he still played a good game.
Yeah, so I want to ask you, DP, obviously because he's your quarterback of the week, just kind of getting into him a little bit from a prospect perspective, right? Like, what do you see in Gunner Stockton one way or the other, right? Like, do you believe like he's a draftable guy? Like, what do you see in him thus far of what you watched?
Definitely think he's a draftable guy. Probably leaning closer to day 3 for me. He's because he's listed at 6'1". I wouldn't be surprised if he's 6 foot, Keith. He's got a little bit of that Russell Wilson where I don't throw in the middle of the field as much as I should. And in the NFL, that's where NFL quarterbacks live and thrive. It's like, yeah, because I mean, throwing out to the boundary is great. Can you literally own the middle of the field? Like 3rd and 10s, 3rd and 15s, you can't just chuck a goal ball and think it's going to land. You got to be able to hit that deep in cut, that deep dig, things of that nature. And I don't think he's not. It's either for me, either like field vision, not being able to see it because of his height, or not trusting that he can make that throw. But he doesn't throw in the middle of the field enough for me. But I definitely think he's a guy that could be a game manager, point guard type, but also has enough athleticism that he can use his legs and be a 300-yard rusher in the season at quarterback. And he's got multiple first downs under his belt. So I think that's the thing for him, Keith. But before we transition, we give it, we typically aren't able to fit 3 quarterbacks in. Dante Moore. I mean, man, everybody's telling me he's going back to school. I'm not here to dispute that, guys. If he goes back, he goes back. All I know is didn't work out for Drew Allen, didn't work out for Cade Clement, didn't work out for Carson Beck. Matt Barkley, years ago, was it Matt Leinart? I think as well. Like, hey, Garrett Nussmeier. Hey, I get it. Y'all think that the more reps you get in college, the more you be ready.
Jimmy Clausen was another guy.
It's been a few of them. Like I'm good with 2 years. Like if you give me 2 years, cool. Or if you show me enough from a mental aptitude standpoint, you can rock with. I'm gonna rock with a 1-year starter. And we've said it on any time, Keith, and multiple times on this pod. I don't care if you started 4 years. I'd rather have a veteran in the room with you because the one thing you don't know how to do is be a pro and be a pro quarterback. So at the end of the day, I still want a veteran to teach you the game. But Dante Moore against Minnesota, 90% completion percentage. I believe he was like 24 of 27 or something crazy like that. 306 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, Minnesota had an answer for him. Like he was comfortable back there. He used his legs when he needed to. He was throwing dime after dime. He throws such a catchable ball, but he's got good enough arm talent to fit in the NFL as well. Cerebral guy.
It looked easy, DP.
It did. It looked like practice. It looked like practice. And from an opposing defense, you never want to hear that. But it looked like practice. Like he just looked like, all right, I'm in my zone. I'm not pressured. I'm not worried about nothing. And I love the fact that he never gets too high. You can look at his face on camera during the broadcast. He never gets too high, never gets too low. Same thing. I think it was the Iowa game. It was a sloppy game for them. He ended up throwing a dime late in that game, put them in position. They ended up winning that game late. And that wasn't a great game for him, but he never got too high, never got too low.
Yep. DP, let's do this, man. Let's go from quarterback of the week to our stock risers. Which quarterbacks are elevating their draft stock after this weekend performances? Let's talk about those guys coming up next.
The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or you want to ride that hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game even more exciting, especially when your team, for me, the Detroit Pistons, are making that late game push to secure a win by our star Cade Cunningham. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 back in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Again, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 back in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel today, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Stock rising performances, Keith. Fernando Mendoza, not really a stock rising situation technically, right? It's more just stamping himself. And while, everybody else is kind of up and down and different things like that, he's been steady Eddie the entire time. Even in games where he's not had the best statistical game, then he makes the 80+ yard drive to end the game and to win the game 3 times this year. And he absolutely lit up Wisconsin. At this point, I feel like the Badgers are like everybody's get right game or like punching bag this year because everybody has lit them up. But like this was the opportunity where it could have been a trap game where he could have walked in there, just felt like, oh, we got this in the bag. Halftime, it could have been 14-14. He's throwing 2 picks, but he didn't do that. He went out there, I think, 299 yards passing, 4 total touchdowns. He hit, I think, the 30 passing touchdown mark this season. And again, out of everybody that might be in the Heisman, I got to look at the Heisman odds to see who's the actual Heisman favorites per the betting, like our partner FanDuel Sportsbook. I got to check out their odds. He's the only guy that has a Heisman moment right now. You know what I mean? And somebody got to step up and have another Heisman moment, but it's been Fernando Mendoza with 3 of them, technically 3 game-winning drives on the road, and then the one against Penn State, one against Oregon, one against Iowa. He just continues to just keep it steady. I think I saw on Twitter, somebody was like, I feel like he's safe. And Keith, I want to ask you, because you know me, I'm big on traits. I want guys that can grow. I look at Fernando Mendoza, and the reason I feel like people don't want to buy in is that he's not the exciting guy in terms of he doesn't run, like he runs, but he's not. It doesn't look like Lenore Sellers or Marcel Reed or any of these other like high-end athletes. He doesn't have the elite arm. He has a good arm. I mean, I think I was watching Omar Cooper. That whole shot against Iowa, it was like 35, 40 yards down the right sideline. I'm like, you need arm talent to get the ball from that point to that point. You know what I mean? Between the corner and safety. I just feel like this isn't a guy that people walk away feeling excited about. But I feel like if you're a true film studier, Keith, and you're watching him complete these throws, you're just like, hey, man, I don't know. Like, listen, I don't know what more you want from your quarterback. You know what I mean? Like the throws against not Oregon, Penn State, the Omar Cooper, the one to the tight end. I don't really know. Like, it's weird. Like, it's weird.
So I guess let's have this conversation, right? I think, and we talk about this, and I always say this, right? That the draft is a narrative popularity thing, right? And for Fernando Mendoza, I think he's fallen in the bucket of, and it sounds so simple and it sounds like kind of ridiculous, but this part kind of matters. for people, right? Like the outside world. And we have to be conscientious of not making this mistake and removing emotion for it. But I think people don't perceive him as cool, right?
Yeah,
Like
no, he's
I don't know.
dorky. He's absolutely dorky, like
Yeah,
100%.
and so I think that plays a part in it that people like some of these guys that they wanted as their quarterback is because I like them, right? Like
Yeah.
let's go back to the example with Will Levis, right? And
Mm,
when he put the mayonnaise in his coffee, right? Certain people like that, right? Certain people's like, I want that guy as my quarterback. That's kind of
I'm gonna
crazy. Like,
try it too because I
yeah,
really like him. Like,
yeah, so there's that part of it, and unfortunately, I always say this, and this is one of my rules, right? And I had to do this, and luckily, I came up, starting at LSU, right? And
mhm,
being there, I had to remove any type of potential fandom because when you
yeah,
become a fan of something, then you become biased towards it, right? And
mhm,
so I had to strip all of that away, and it's obviously continue doing this, like just not the
yeah,
and the one thing that I continue to say is when people say I like him, right?
yeah.
What does that mean? How does that apply? Right? Like what
Right,
do you
right.
mean you like him? And so I think that's what it is with Fernando because I'll be completely honest, DP, like, and we've talked about on this podcast, I've had to turn the corner, right? Like to be like,
Mhm,
okay, this is a pretty good quarterback, and
yeah.
just go from there, right? So I think that's
He's
that's
he's got
partially,
that he's got that Andrew Luck, that Kirk Cousins,
yeah,
just
yeah. And
quirkiness
so
to
bru-
him.
you brought up another guy, Kirk Cousins.
Mhm,
Everybody, for better or for worse, Kirk Cousins was the butt of people jokes, right? And it was
mhm.
Kirk Cousins this, Kirk Cousins that, right? And the guy consistently put up numbers, right? He's always any wide receiver that played with him, they guarantee they like playing with him, right?
He
Stephon
got paid.
Diggs, Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, right? They're like they like playing with him. But then he had the Netflix show, right?
Mhm,
And after the Netflix show, people was like, "Oh, I kind of like Kirk. He's kind of cool." And then
yeah.
guess what happened? Kirk Cousins' um, stock as a quarterback elevated. Not
Mhm.
because of anything he did on the field, but it was because of a Netflix show, and people said they like him. So it's crazy how it unfolds.
This is
Um,
insane.
yeah, it's just how it unfolds both ways. So just I guess that was kind of scouting lesson, right? Like
Yeah,
we have to remove like from it and
got
and,
to.
and just and just watch the prospects. But DP, I'm gonna go with this young man, Jayden Maiava. And you talked about was that yesterday's show? Because you
Yeah.
gave the game ball to Makai Lemon, right? And Makai had I think 10 catches, 150 yards, something like that. I'm
Mhm.
gonna go with Jayden Maiava as a stock riser just because the young man keeps showing up, right? And this was a game against number 20 Iowa, or was Iowa ranked higher than that? I know Iowa was ranked for
It was like
sure.
somewhere in the 20s. Yeah, like,
Yeah, and quietly, DP, USC is fighting to make it into the playoffs, right? Like, and
mhm,
there's a weird position that you may want to be in, especially if you're potentially a two-loss team, right? To where you want to win out, but potentially don't want to have to play the conference championship game, to where you have to
facts,
suffer
facts.
a
Yeah.
third loss. You get what I'm saying? And so you might tell Ohio, especially if you got to go play Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game, right? You just say Ohio
I'm
State
good.
and I don't know whoever, Oregon, y'all gonna knock yourselves out, right? With the Big Ten championship game. And then we'll sit here and we'll probably, make the
But
play.
to be honest with you, Keith, that's going to be Oregon, because they lost to Indiana. It's going to be Ohio State, Indiana, and Oregon's going to be sitting there like, man, we dodged a bullet. Y'all go ahead and beat each other up,
Yeah,
and we'll see y'all in the CFP.
yeah,
Like
yep.
it's like that.
Yeah, so and that's potentially what could happen and unfold. But yeah, and Jane Maiava has played really good football, and I think coming into the season, not a lot of people knew a lot about him, right? Like because you had the conversation of last year with the transition of Miller Moss, and then everybody's like, and he wasn't just a high profile name, and when hasn't Lincoln Riley had a high profile name, right?
Right,
Like in
right.
at the quarterback position. So I think I'm looking at Jay Maiava, and he's another one. And we talked about this. Was that I can't remember if it was earlier in this podcast or yesterday's when we talked about Marcel Reed being eligible. I believe Jay Maiava is eligible, right? Like
He
let's
is.
talk about him like as a QB prospect and like what can he not do? What can he do? And what does he follow? So he's a stock riser for me because I think he's just simply making plays.
He is. He's accurate. I love how he works the quick game. This guy, he's one of those guys. And you don't see this a lot in college because he can scramble. Like he's athletic,
Yeah,
but
he's
he can
athletic.
absolutely can work in the hit and throw. category, like snap, his back foot hits, and he can get the ball out. And just the processing, I feel, is good. Does he get into that hero ball mentality sometimes? Sometimes he'll tap into that and everything. But I think that's just the freedom that Lincoln gives his quarterbacks. It was the same thing with
all of them did it at some point. Spencer Rattler,
Every single
Kyler
one.
Murray, Caleb Williams, all of them.
Every single one of them. And I feel like that's just a play caller giving his quarterback, I trust you. I trust your decision-making. I trust your instincts. Go make a play. And for better or worse, right? But I'd rather my coach trust my guy than try to what we talk about with Nuss, like handicap him and be like, hey, I need you to play this way. Instead of just saying, hey, Nuss, we're going to trust that you see it. You had the instincts. You did everything you did last year. Go play ball. And they didn't do that, and now we see Nuss get benched and everything else. So, yeah, Jayden Maiava is definitely somebody we're going to have to do a draft profile on, until he comes out and say, hey, USC, I'm returning. And somebody asked me this on Twitter on Sunday about him. Like when I tweet out the clip, I think it was a double move by Mekhi Lemon against that sophomore corner. And they were like, how do you feel about Jayden Maiava? I said, I really like him. I like his game. I was like, he has an NFL skill set. I said, it's just, I don't know if he comes out. And I think it's crazy, Keith, how things evolve, right? It goes from pocket passers to athletic quarterbacks to now people are kind of in the middle. Like, I want my guy to be athletic, but man, you got to play from your neck up too, right? To the point where now we're chasing 30 starts in college. And I feel like that's going to ruin some kids. Because with the era of this era being NIL and transfer portal heavy, and not just that, USC was gutted by their receiver core with Deuce Robinson, who's balling up for Florida State, Zachariah Branch, who left and went to into Georgia. I forget, it was another one. I think Kyron Hudson, who went to Penn State. You lost 3 receivers to the transfer portal. Right now, you're trending to losing your top 2 receivers to the NFL draft with who behind him. So if Jayden returns, who are you returning to? You're returning to the scheme and what else? And it's just like, I think people need to start thinking about that. So if I'm Jayden, I definitely weigh this thing correctly and look at my options, because this guy to me could still be a first-round pick because he's played very good football and he's not some one-year starter who's never played football before.
Yeah, and just his measurables for the people, he's listed at 6'4", 230, right? So he has that prototype build that you want in a quarterback.
Layers, passes, accurate ball placement.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting, DP, and just it's because we have yet, and I think whatever, certain people that enter the draft space, right, and they're not in it right now, but right once the draft, they kind of jump in, but it was because of the pre-notion, right? And nobody can talk about Cade Klubnik and Garrett Nussmeier, so that conversation is over, but people aren't doing the homework to find the other guys. Like I said, it's mind-boggling to me that for Marcel Reed, who's the quarterback of an undefeated team in the Heisman race, and nobody's asking what is his NFL draft potential, right? Like, even if he's not good enough, just what is his NFL draft potential?
Nobody's having a conversation.
Yeah, 100%. So we'll see. But DP, let's keep this thing going and flowing, man. Coming up next, we're going to talk about those prospects who draft stock fell a little bit over this weekend with their performance. Let's get into that coming up next.
I'm Cody Rourke from Locked On Broncos, and this episode is brought to you by Peloton. Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton Cross-Training Tread Plus, powered by Peloton IQ. This is Peloton's most advanced equipment yet, giving you real-time guidance and endless ways to move, whether you're running, lifting, or you're cross-training with your favorite instructors like Alex Toussaint. It's training reimagined to make your workout more personal. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with features that help you plan, stay motivated, and hit peak performance. You can let yourself run, lift, flex, and go while Peloton handles all the rest. Plus, Peloton IQ provides real-time strength coaching, tracking your progress and suggesting weights that challenge you so you can get stronger. Plus, the new movement tracking camera, it counts your reps and corrects your form in real time, making sure every rep is safer and smarter. So let yourself run, lift, flex, push, and go. Explore the new Peloton Cross-Training Tread Plus at onepeloton.com.
Thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and everyday. Shout out for being our everydayers. And thank you for making the Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 sports podcast network in America. You guys being everydayers did just that for us. The stock falling performances. Key, this was a guy about a couple weeks ago, matter of fact, about two and a half weeks ago, before he played Utah. The buzz was growing. He had thrown one interception all season through like 9, maybe 10 weeks, whatever it may have been. Cincinnati quarterback Brendan Sorsby.
Mm-hmm.
And Brendan 6'3", 235, arm talent, mobility. Like, he's got the tools that you look for, but he's still raw. And again, up until that Utah game about 2-3 weeks ago, he had thrown 19 touchdowns to 1 interception. Since Utah, against Utah, he was 11-33, 221, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Against Arizona, in a game that they lost to Noah Fafita outplayed him. He was 15-28, 53% completion percentage. Against Utah, he completed 33% of his passes, 154 yards against Arizona, 5.45 yards per attempt, 1 passing touchdown to 2 interceptions. He's got 3 interceptions in his last 2 games to only 2 passing touchdowns. He's put the ball in harm's way. He has not looked like the guy that, because this was a guy, Keith, that I think it's because of the stats of this quarterback class, right? And it's not that he's not a talented player. He is, but he hadn't had that test and moment. So everybody's looking for that next quarterback, right? Who's going to be the guy? Like, if people don't want Fernando Mendoza to be QB1. Ty Simpson's only 1-year starter. God forbid he declares they don't want Ty Simpson. Hey, Dante Moore, you go back. But we're clamoring for somebody to be a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, well, who do we want then? Right? Like, because I mean, no, and just in having the comment, I'm not trying to cut you off.
No, you're good.
But this is the position that this draft class has put everybody in, is that they would like Garrett Nussmeier and K. Klubnik, but if you put Garrett Nussmeier at pick 101, right, like he's the top of the draft, then people are going to call you crazy, right? Like, so who do y'all want, right? So it's what we have to go with the guys that's playing well. Do y'all want the guys that played well last year? Which one, right? We have to make a decision. You kind of have to be open to the idea of different things, and you kind of started to hit on it. That's what a transfer portal is putting us, right? Like, because things are constantly changing, and maybe DP, I'll be completely honest with you, I'm not all the way out on Garrett Nussmeier, right? Like, I think if you can do it once, you can do it again. I just think the missing factor that people are missing is so many different changing pieces in college football. It's so crazy that you're going to and I think if they don't change anything, we're going to get the same thing again, to where we're going to get we walk into a situation where we think we're going to get this from guys, and it ends up being something totally different, for good or for worse. I mean, for better or for worse, right? It's going to be different because there's no consistency.
No, I think heading into next summer in the summer scouting, some of these guys are going to change places, right? And go to different teams, or they're going to be there again, and they got new weapons. Like, we truly have to start evaluating the entire situation. Like, who's the play caller? Are you a first-time play caller, or were you there last year when they had success? Were you calling plays then? Like, is the camaraderie and chemistry from QB the OC, or what? Like, what has changed? And is it going to negatively impact you? Because right now, everybody's talking about the 2027 class. I'm like, guys, did we not just do this for 2026 during the summer? And now everybody's like, yeah, this class is falling on its face. Well, guess what? Prepare yourself for that again, because we can't assume the same way we assume that everybody, like Lenore Sellers, was going to take a step forward. That this guy was going to, look at it, right? Like, DJ Lagway is a walking inconsistent quarterback. Yep. Nico Iamaleava has shown ups and downs. Like, Arch Manning has been up and down. Like, everybody's been up and down. So just because they go back next year and next year's class will be so much more talented. Guess what? We said the same thing for 2026, and it's not panned out. So let's just let it play out the way it's going to play out. But yeah, back to Brendan Sorsby, because everybody's clamoring for that next quarterback and that guy with the exciting tools and size and everything else. He was a guy that was kind of propped up, and he's not answered the bell the last 2 weeks. And I just don't know, because I think he might be a senior. He's a senior. He started out, he played the first 2 years at Indiana. He transferred out to Cincinnati. That's when Curtis Rourke came in, and now they got Fernando Mendoza. It's his second year. I think he's a redshirt. He might be a redshirt junior. Either way, if he decides to declare, his stock isn't as favorable as it looked 3-4 weeks ago.
Right. I like that, DP. And because we went on a tangent, I think we should wrap up there. I think that was good. We kind of talked to some portal stuff, some transfers, ideology, and I like it's just this is gonna be fun. And that's all I keep saying, right? Is once we truly into the draft space, it's gonna be fun, and it's gonna be because names are gonna be coming from left, from right, from all over the place. And we'll see trends, right? And people are trend up, people are trend down. Just overall, we'll see how it goes. But DP, that wraps up another episode, man, of the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast. I want to end this podcast off by saying shout out to our everydayers. Thank you for tapping in with us each and every single day. I am Keith Sanchez. You can find me on X at The Talent Code. That right there is my guy, my co-host, Mr. Damian Parson. You can find him on X at DP_NFL. And like we like to say, man, y'all can talk to us because we like to talk back.
Go subscribe and follow for free on YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts, to get the latest episode as soon as it is available. On tomorrow's show is Watch the Tape Wednesday. We're going to pick 3 prospects from week 12 or the varying weeks before. Watch their tape and then bring you the scouting notes about what they've been doing this season. So come and join the conversation again tomorrow on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.